Hello, hello, and happy Friday. Welcome to our client spotlight interview. And I am super excited for this. I'm super excited to be starting out this new series on my Instagram where we're going to be chatting with some of the most successful members in our ACF squad. And today I'm going to be talking to Kim. Kim, it has been a pleasure to work with for a few months now. She's been in my program and her journey is so incredibly inspiring for so many women. And I can't wait to have her here and have her share everything. Not only she has been getting incredible physical results and gaining her confidence back after having a kid, which is, something that I will very soon find out how it feels. But also some aspects of her mindset and just everything that we've been talking about behind the scenes. It's just been incredible, amazing. And I think that I would be doing a disservice not sharing her story here. I'm not gonna lie to you. I wrote down some of the questions that I wanna ask her just so I don't forget. So if you see me just staring to the other way, it's just because I'm watching my computer here and I had to position my phone in a bright light area here in my room. So let me ask Kim to join. Hold on. This is the first time that I'm doing this, guys, so bear with me here. So it is 12:30 here in Toronto. It is still morning in Cali. So let me see if she accepted it. And the most incredible thing, I remember when we started chatting before, even a little bit before she joined the program, she had this closet full of cute outfits that she wanted to be able to wear again. And very recently she was able to do that. She's wearing all of her cute outfits back again. Now we got her. Now we got it. Like I said, guys, bear with me here. This is the first time that I'm doing this. This is the first of many interviews that we're going to be doing with some of the amazing members of the ACF team. Why isn't Kim able to join? Hold on. Yeah. I think there she is.
I've never done one of these either, so I'm like, oh my God.
Hey.
So thanks, Andrea.
We got you. Yeah.
I'm good. Thanks
Hi,
for
Kim.
asking
How
me
are
to do
you?
this. This is fun and very different.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. I'm super excited to have you here. And hold on, I'm just trying to
I know, I
adjust
had
my
to find a good lighting
here.
too.
Right? And yeah, I'm all cut off and weird, but we're going to get it to work. There you go. You can see me without my cut off hat. Awesome, Kim. Super excited to have you here. I don't want to take too much of your time, of course, because I know you're super busy. So let's start out by you. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Where you're located? What do you do for a living?
Yeah, so I'm in San
What's
Diego,
your background?
California, which means I get good weather most of the year. I see your video or your comments a lot about summer. We're pretty much in summer all the time, so I can't complain. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm a financial advisor, so I work for a large bank here in the United States, and I get to work with a lot of other clients too, kind of like Andrea does. And I have a 1.5-year-old daughter named Maya, who is very cute, and then I have an 80-pound dog named Diesel, who's a half husky, half lab, and he's very, very large and fun. And then I have my husband. So yeah, it's just our small family rocking in San Diego.
Lovely. Lovely. Yeah, I'm jealous. I'm jealous of that weather. Definitely. Awesome. And Kim, what was if you were to say, how did your life look like? How was your life before we started working together? Fitness wise, mindset, where you were at
I was in a
before?
low place. I kept waiting for life to just kind of give me a break so that I could just focus on myself. And any new parent knows, or you'll soon find out, it's just suddenly all your free time is sucked out, and it's like, okay, I just need to get through this next moment, this next day. And once she gets older, once this happens, but my life just kept kind of not shortchanging me. I shared with Andrea, but I had a stroke about a year ago. My daughter was 5 months old. I had just come off the pregnancy, so I was clearly not in the shape that I wanted to be. I was still breastfeeding. I had to stop everything. I had to stop work and go into a brain rehab program. And then I emerged from that kind of just ready to like sort of grab bull, by the horns. And then my grandmother, who I take care of, then ended up getting cancer, and I had to like help her transition out of life. And I was sitting in the hospital bed, actually, or not in the bed, but in the room with her when I messaged you, because I just was like, I'm never going to get that break that I want from life. I'm never going to get that signal. And I just need some agency back. I just need to feel like I'm in control. I don't feel good while I'm sitting here. I'm not walking, I'm eating whatever I can eat because I'm just trying to like get through my day. And the things that worked for me in my 20s were not working. I'd squeeze in that run. I would think I was cutting calories or whatever I thought that worked, and it just was not getting any results. And I just finally was like, you know what? I need to spend some time on me. I need to be a little bit selfish and just carve out, an hour in the morning just for me. And if I lose an hour of sleep, that's going to suck at the beginning. But then I transitioned away from that. And then my life hit a balance. So yeah, it was just, I would say I was very low, but it's definitely changed since we started
My
working together. And I mean,
goodness.
obviously there's a culmination of things, but I think having someone that's like sort of on my shoulder, because when I've hit those low points and I've reached out to you and like, hey, this isn't working, or am I doing this right? And I don't want you to be like upset with me. You've always been a really good cheerleader, and it's made this whole process, I don't know, just a lot happier. So anyway, I'm oversharing probably, but
That's amazing here. Oh my God. I didn't know
uh,
about you being in the hospital with your
yeah.
grandma when you messaged me for the first
I
time.
had been
Oh my
following you
goodness.
for a while because I
Wow.
saw you were on Tummy Warriors IG, because I was trying to get my diastasis recti. I'm probably not saying that right. When you have a baby, right, your stomach expands, and it was like
Yeah.
kind of coming back. I had like a 4-finger knuckle deep depression, and then I saw that she was working with you, and I was like, oh, I should work with someone like a woman that knows and isn't like cut calories, climb every mountain in Orange Theory to get there. So anyway, yeah.
My goodness. Yeah. And wow, that was a lot. It seems like you were at a very low point when you joined. And prior to your pregnancy, you were
Yeah.
basically an athlete, right? You did a lot, because I remember you sharing that you used to run, you used to do all of these things. How was that transition for you, um, from being someone very, very active to getting into that
It
very
was
low
hard.
point in your life?
Working out is my escape. And yeah, so I'm a third-degree black belt. So I was kind of like, oh, I could
Oh,
like
wow.
walk around, and if anyone messes me, I can defend myself, or if not, I can run away. And I was used to just being able to like, oh, does that couch need to be moved? Okay, I'm just gonna go pick it up. I felt very comfortable in my body. And to sort of, going through pregnancy, your body changes a lot to, create life, and that's amazing. And I had knee surgery right before then too. I know I sound like a victim, but it just, a lot of stuff happened in a very short amount of time, and I just felt so off kilter. So watching it swing completely the other way, where like I said, I felt like I had no agency in my life again. And then these attempts that I would make were like, oh, the tools that I use are not working. In fact, I feel like they're doing me a disservice. Like, I'm just going to go out there and run. That's what I used to do. Well, now my knee's bothering me for like 2 weeks, and now I can't do anything. So, okay, that's not great. And so, yeah, it was very hard. It went going from like, yeah, I can physically do anything to, I don't know if I can like lift a picture frame on a wall to like hang it. You know what I mean? Like comfortably. Like I could do it, but I'm gonna be like panting and things
Yeah.
like that. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I can only imagine. So you had knee surgery, you got
Yeah.
pregnant, you had a stroke, 5 months postpartum, uh, your grandma got cancer, then you had to transition her out of life. All of that
Yeah.
in like a very short amount of time. What was the main thing, if there was any, like the aha moment, like, you know what, I cannot do this anymore. I'm gonna reach out for help right now. Was there a moment
A
like that?
little bit. It's yeah, when I was sitting there, this isn't I have a very dark sense of humor, so go with me. But I'm sitting there with my grandma.
Oh, go
And
ahead. Like,
I had
I'm
just, I don't know what I had eaten, but like, when your waistband starts to like cut in, and I'm like, man, I went up 2 pant sizes already. And I just feel like that was my aha moment. It was just like, I felt like I was losing all these things. And I was like, God damn it, I just want to buy cute clothes that I like, that I'm not buying out of necessity. Cause what I'm doing is just buying cheap stuff to sort of like get through the comfort level. And it's like, for God's sakes, if I'm going to be throwing money at a problem, I want to be wearing something that I feel good in. And that was my kind of aha moment. Like, I can't keep buying pants. I hadn't worn jeans like in 2 years before I started working with you, because it was just, there was no comfort in them. There was no stretch. And I'm like, I can't do this anymore. And that was my aha moment, is sitting there eating my feelings and being like, I do not want to buy more pants. I just would like to fit in my very cute clothes that I have curated over my career and just be comfortable.
Yeah, yeah. I I remember when we talked for the first time, I think on our first call, you said that you had just done like had just bought like lots of cute outfits
Yeah.
in your closet that you couldn't fit anymore, and that was
Yeah.
pissing you off so much. All right. And what what inspired you to join my program, reach out to me, and why me specifically? Like, there's so many people on Instagram, so many other, fitness professionals, and like you're basically bombarded every single day with ads here and there, and all of these other things. What made you reach out
So I've
specifically
never
to
done
Andrea?
anything through Instagram before in terms of like working with someone. I think, yeah, kind of like to your point, it's like a big marketing push. A lot of things like, oh, you watch fitness videos, here, work with this trainer. Um, I I don't like people that bullshit. If I'm gonna have someone in my life, I need them to be real with me. I need to know that the advice they're giving is not, for your benefit. As an example, you're putting my needs first. Like, if I'm gonna hire someone, I want them to be a coach or a person that's gonna be with me in the seat, so to speak. And a lot of the videos or things that I saw on Instagram before then were like, try this thing for a couple of weeks, try. And I was like, I already know these things are stupid and they're not going to work. And I need a lifestyle change. Like, I'm looking for someone to be with me in the
Mhm.
long term to figure out what that lifestyle change is for me. And knowing that, like, I yo-yo in my weight as an example. And like, I am a little bit more physically, I think at the time, before I got injured and stuff, advanced. Like, I didn't want to join a cookie cutter program. I wanted someone to work with me to curate what's going to work, what's not going to work, how does my body adjust. And the way that you come across, I mean, you're very straightforward, you're very nice about it, but you're like supportive and like, hey, just so you know, if you have a bunch of alcohol on your cut time, yeah, that's gonna make the process a lot longer, and then you're gonna be in cut time longer. And do you want to be in cut time? I mean, these conversations are really helpful, because it's like they recall them when I'm like, oh, I like that beer. No, it's just not worth it. So for that was like the biggest
Yeah.
call to me, is like, you were very direct, you were very personal, but you were also just like, hey, I'm here to support you, but we need to work together on this. I'm not your fairy magic godmother that's just going to come in and boop, there you go, or give you results in 2 weeks and you're going to feel great for a week, and then your life's going to go on and suddenly you're going to be back there in a couple months. So yeah.
Appreciate that. Appreciate that. And yeah, because one thing that I noticed is that, especially like someone at around your where you're at in life, like mid-30s with, you know, a baby, and who's got also a lot on your plate in terms of you know, your career. You've got a lot of things to take care of, right? Your lifestyle now is absolutely different than when you were in your 20s. You have a lot more responsibilities, a lot more to think about, and you don't have time to bullshit. Like, you don't have time for that. And you need to find a plan or find a strategy that works for the life that you have right now, for, you know, the responsibilities that you have right now, and understanding what comes into play at each stage of that journey, so you're also not bullshitting yourself into what you're doing. So, and you've been amazing to work with throughout this process, because, and I'm not just saying this because we're here, but because it is true. Like, I do have the process to come in and join my program. I do have the application process, the interview on the Zoom, because I don't want anybody in our program that is not going to be in that right mindset. That's going to be there for the quick fixes. That's going to, you know, disrespect what we do. That's going to, because you know how 101 we get. You know how even though we're very far away physically, we're always there. I'm always there. I care for each one of the clients, and at a very personal level. So I don't want to be the person who is giving 100% and the other person is just there sitting and waiting and wishing, right? So I appreciate you so much. And I'm just curious, so you said that you were at a very low point, right? You've tried everything on your own before, and nothing was working the way it used to work before. Was there anything in particular that you were struggling with when you decided to reach out?
You know, functional strength, just generally, like not being in pain, but also just knowing what to eat. I, you know, Southern California, we're very like mostly aware of, like, you know, trying out a little bit more fiber, but like the amount of protein I remember you recommending at the very beginning, my jaw, I had never eaten that much protein in my life. And even now, I had no idea. And it was just kind of like, I needed someone to give me a little bit of guidance, and just knowing that I didn't have enough time and enough, you know, protein inside that you were giving me was really, I think, helpful. I forget the first part of the question that you asked. Sorry, my brain's tired this morning.
If there was anything in particular that you were struggling with before you decided to join. So you were trying all of these things, but you mentioned functional strength, and I remember we having that conversation right at the beginning. And then how much to eat and what exactly
diet, right?
to do,
because,
basically.
You know, everyone says, oh, I want to lose 5 pounds. Well, you've really, for me at least, separated what does 5 pounds mean. You know, my weight isn't back to where it was pre-pregnancy, but I fit in all my clothes. I'm much tinier than I was, you know, and I'm at a higher weight. And, you know, when you're cutting calories and you're being told, you know, following whatever was recommended on TikTok or whatever, I'm hungry all the time, and I'm angry, and it's like I'm not satisfied, because I'm like, oh, well, this popcorn isn't really, you know, high in calories, so I'll eat that. Well, that's not very satisfying and fulfilling for you. And so that was the part I was struggling with, is I knew that you need to be in a calorie deficit. Like, I had some education pieces, but not enough on how to properly apply them to me anymore, given the stage of my life that I was in. And so it was just very frustrating. I felt like I was floundering all the time. So that was like the biggest struggle, is you illuminating what works and what doesn't work and why.
Right. And what do you think were the, like, 1 or 2 or 3 are of the main things that you've learned so far?
You can't build muscle and cut calories at the same time, or like lose fat at the same time. And that to me is like a duh after reading your stuff. But honestly, like in every program that you talk, they're like, oh, you're going to make this lifestyle change and it's going to be great. And I used to do like the Orange Theory, not to like boo Orange Theory, that's not my intention, but like I used to do these programs. We have a local one here in San Diego, and you know, everyone's always lifting the same 3 pounds. And I'm like, well, how does that, like mentally, I'm like, okay, they look good, but how does that work? Like, how do they building muscle? And it's because they're operating on such a low, perpetually low diet, calorie intake, just to maintain that body level. And you know, the other thing about, like, you know, the more muscle you have, I had known that, you know, your higher metabolism, but I didn't think about it in the way that, you know, here everyone's like, okay, we're going to go out this weekend, so Saturday morning we're doing an exercise program so that we can like enjoy the weekend. Well, the weekend's not any different than any of the other days. And so how you impact it's just the give and take and everything, how to manage, you know, the fact that you have a limited amount of food that you can intake. How does that food really impact, you know, your body? And then how do you feel afterwards? Like I feel great. I feel so, I mean, part of it, yes, is working out, but just my diet, overall, my gut, everything feels so much better. And those are like the big things I would say that you kind of illuminated for me, is that, you know, working out can have a higher metabolism for your body, building muscle that'll allow you to have a higher sustainable point, rather than doing this, you know, okay, I overdid it, now I need to cut back. Okay, I overdid it again, I need to cut back. And it's just over time, not mentally very exhausting, not sustainable.
Exactly. And you've throughout the past few months, you've actually been able to get really, really strong compared
Yeah.
to where you started
Yeah.
before, right? In pretty
I
much
didn't
all of
do
the
an
lifts.
uphill for more than like 25 pounds when I first started. I think I was up to, my PR is 150. I mean, it's incredible. Yeah. So
I,
yeah.
that's amazing. That's amazing. That's amazing. And did you have any hesitations, Kim, before signing up, before joining? Anything that you were a bit skeptical about before you know, joining
Yeah, most of us
and
grew up
getting
in an age
started?
before the internet, and we've all learned about, you know, like the chat rooms, don't talk to strangers, don't, you know, so all that stuff. I'm like, I'm hiring someone I've never met before, and I'm making a financial commitment up front, you know, expecting certain results. And like, if you ghosted me at the end of the day, you know, how am I going to find, I mean, all those things. I mean, I followed you for quite some time before I ultimately ended up, you know, reaching out. But yeah, that was my big
Yeah.
hesitation, is like, okay, this is a big financial commitment that I'm making for myself, expecting results. And I have to sort of trust that you're also going to be there and not just like give me a cookie, you know, cookie cutter thing back. So that was my
Yeah.
biggest hesitation. But you're very, like I said, very direct, very personal. And it just made me realize the type of person you are. And I was like, okay, there's a personality fit there. I want to work with her. I'm willing to commit and trust and see how this works out. And I'm so glad I did.
Oh,
Yeah.
appreciate it so much. And what was the biggest win or the biggest thing that impacted you that you weren't
Um,
expecting from the
my husband's
program?
response to my body change, because he, because like, you
Love
know,
it.
you have a baby, you know, if you're we were trying for over a year, so like some of the romanticism around, I'm just getting real, like, of having sex just kind of had left the building. And we, you know, he'd always told me I looked good and all these things, but when I'm now able to wear the things I want to wear, or I feel good walking around naked around my house, I mean, not that I'm like strolling around and stuff, but I don't feel the need to like quickly get on clothes or anything like that before he sees me. That was the biggest thing I was not expecting, just from his reaction and other people's reaction. Like, I see it and I feel good and I do it for myself, but just the amount of feedback from other people being like, wow, I know you know, you really wanted to be in this place, you know, going back to karate and all this stuff, and now you're back, and wow, good for you. And just, that was the biggest shock that I was not expecting. I was hoping to fit in my clothes again, and I was hoping to get stronger, but I was not expecting the amount of feedback that I got from like everybody, including my husband. So
Amazing. That's amazing. and it just reinforces the hard work that you've been putting in, right? And it's funny that you mentioned that the husband story, because whenever we're not feeling super comfortable in our bodies, that's the first person that we try to hide from without even realizing that, right? Like we try to avoid, you know, the lights on and try to avoid getting naked more often. And then once we're feeling good again, it's out for the show.
It's so true. The person that should understand you the most, you're the most, you know, at least for me, reserved with. And I mean, he's just like coming up and giving me kisses and slapping my butt. And I'm just like, hey, you know, like Maya's right there. And it's, I know like not everyone's going to have that experience and it's just different, but I just, he was always very, very, you know, very polite and nice and not commenting. Yikes, words are gone. But anyway, complimentary. And but it's different when they're physically, I guess, a little bit more attentive.
Absolutely. And actually, to share something that might be too much information here, this is something that I talked about with my husband before, because he has that the habit of slapping my butt and like making compliments and like hugging me all the time, and you know, he's always there. And I'm like, you know what? I wish every women would feel this way with their partners, because it's, you know, sometimes they're just annoying, but it's
I know, but I'll get annoyed with him. I'm like, but I actually like it, but I just wish it would. I don't know. It's you're right. It's when you're distracted doing something else.
It's something. You know what? Like, yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. And how I think you touched on it a little bit also with this, but how do you think the physical transformation that you went through and the results that you've gotten so far, and we're just like not even in the halfway through everything, but how do you think that those results impacted other areas of your life?
I wanted a physical change, and I was hoping that there would be a mental change from that, and I wasn't expecting how much my mental health improved. I mean, part of it is just having the scaffolding of knowing, okay, you know, I don't have to overthink these things. I don't have to overthink, you know, how to do the diet and all that stuff. But overall, my life has been feeling very positive, and I just didn't expect that. I knew I would physically feel good, but I didn't think that my mental health would get so much better from working with you. And I think it's knowing that I have that support and somewhere to go if I have a question or, you know, something's not working right. If I get frustrated, you know, I reach out. And so I feel like I have a partner with me in this, but I also feel like I have control in a way that I really haven't had for the last year and a half. And that was not at all. I was trying to just like, okay, I just want to get back in my clothes and I want my knee not to hurt. I mean, that's where I was. And it's become so much more than that.
That's amazing. That's amazing to hear, because oftentimes that's all we want in the beginning, right? The external and the, you know, the something that we can see and like touch. Okay, this changed. It's clear. But the mental aspect is huge as well. And I guess without going through the mental aspect, or without going through that mental or the mindset transformation as well, and putting yourself in a good place mentally, it is also really hard to keep the results that you got physically, because at some point that will derail you from everything that you're doing, right? So that's very important for sure. And how do you think that what we've done so far, or because we've been working together for
five. It's almost 6. Yeah.
It's almost 6, right? It's almost 6, and now you renewed for another 12 months, 16, 15 months. I don't even know. Yeah. We're here for like
forever.
Lifetime contract. So throughout this time, how do you think that what we do is different from other programs that you've tried in the past?
Other than the support aspect, life happens, right? Like that was kind of for me, I was waiting for the perfect moment. Okay, let's just start out in the new year, because then we get through the holidays and all that stuff. And
Mhm.
you provide a lot of good content and support going, hey, we're going to Thanksgiving. And like for me, I cannot have any chocolate, anything in my house. My level of discipline is very low when it comes to just anything that I want. Like I've never been good at sort of having that self-control. And when you put me in an environment like Thanksgiving, I mean, I think I reached out to you. I went nuts. I had just started the program. It was November 1st. And I was just like, give all the food to me. And you were like, look, there are like 3 different ways for you to sort of get through this. You can, fill up the plate, you can grab one of everything, and that was like
Yeah.
really nice because you're giving me individual personalized feedback, and I'm letting you know, hey, this is my type of personality. I'm a type A hard worker, but if you put a bowl of chocolate in front of me, I like all bets are off. I'm done. And you're like, hey, it's like my friend gave me a box of cookies and I sent it to you, I think being like, oh, I'm being so good, I didn't eat this cookie. And you're like, why can't you eat the cookie? Like, eat the cookie, just work it into the macros, just make sure it can work. And that was like the light bulb for me. I'm like, oh, she's not telling me no. I reach out to you being like, look how good I am. And you're like, hold on a minute. Yeah, good for you. However, don't eat a whole cookie, eat half a cookie. Just make it work in your macros. And then that's fine, right? And I'm like, oh, that's fine. So I got to enjoy that box of cookies for like a month. I put them in the freezer and I had a little bit me fitting them in. And so that was like, there's nothing else really like that. Everyone else is kind of putting you on a program, telling you what the yay and nays are. And you're like, no, life happens. Things are going to come up, Thanksgiving, other things are going to happen. And instead of denying yourself that, educating yourself around how you can fit those things in to create sustainability was, yeah, the biggest thing.
Yeah. No, that's awesome that you pointed that out because what is life without chocolate or without cookies or
Yeah.
without a glass of wine? Come on. And it's just how you do those things, how you fit those things into your life, right? But yeah, no, I'm not. I know that there are a lot of coaches out there who are very like, okay, here's your plan, cookie cutter. You don't eat this, you eat this, and you're good. And if you eat anything
Yeah.
outside of this, you're bad. And that's not
But
it's not a sustainable
not to
approach at
but
all.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
that like what happens is then people are not giving honest feedback because they don't want that guilt, right? They don't want, oh no, I'm
Yeah.
rejecting my coach, or I'm not following the advice, so I'm not going to share the
Yep.
information. I just throw it all in MyFitnessPal, and you're like, hey, I saw you went a little crazy on Thursday. That's fine, but here's how we can approach it differently. And so you're
Yeah.
never shaming me, and I don't ever feel like bad. I'm always like, oh, I could have done that better. But I'm like, it happened. And you say this all the time. It already happened. You already did it. You can't reverse what you did yesterday. All we can do is look forward. And that's okay. We're going to have hiccups. And so I think that's the other thing too
Yeah.
that's different is like you give honest feedback that's not shaming. And so I feel like I get a lot more benefit because I feel like I can be more honest with you and more trustworthy. And I'm a people pleaser. And I know that you're going to give honest feedback back that's not like guilting. You know what I mean? So anyway, sorry to interrupt, but
Yeah. Absolutely. No, that's totally fine. And I think that's very valuable for people who are watching because most people, like some people have the impression that I'm this, I'm this aggressive and, super disciplined. Oh my gosh, even my husband, sometimes he tells me, oh my gosh, you look like you're going to kill somebody. But, but I like to come from a educating the person and like, hey, here's what happens if you do this, if you do that, and here's how we're gonna solve this. And I think that whenever you're shaming people, whenever you're just being like super black and white, which life is not like that. Life will happen all the time. You just put the blame on the person, and then a lot of people think that they're not disciplined enough for the kind of program that you have or for the kind of plan or to achieve the result that they want. Oh, it's just me. I'm not disciplined enough. I know what to do. It's just that I'm not doing it because I'm bad, right? When the reality is think that you know what you should be doing, but that's not a real, sustainable lifestyle for you right now. That's not the strategy that you should be trying to follow right now. So yeah, I think that's very important. And yeah, I love that you had that box of cookies throughout the
It
whole
was
time
great.
and enjoyed. That's awesome. That's awesome. And all right, I guess to wrap it up, because I've kept you for 35 minutes. So what would you say to somebody who's on the fence and maybe they're, a bit skeptical too, because who is that girl on the other side of Instagram? And maybe she's a scammer, or, is she going to give me the same plan that she gives for everybody else, or what the heck? Or if somebody are on the fence just like you were before, following me, and what would you say to that person if they want to do it, but they're kind of like
I would
hesitating
say
about it?
if you look at the changes that you probably try to be implementing and you're still following Andrea and seeing what she's doing and you're on the fence, those things haven't been working. And there's never going to be a good time. I know you've said this before, but life sometimes just doesn't give you a break. You're on the fast lane. And even when you do have a break, it sometimes is like, oh, I'm just going to like catch everything before I jump into another thing like this. This isn't a commitment in terms of something that you can't fit in your lifestyle. You're not over asking anybody who joins your program to suddenly stop other things that you're doing. You go, hey, what is your lifestyle like? How can I fit in there to support you so that you go through this and you feel good and have agency in what you're doing, rather than, okay, I'm going to take over and for the next 6 months, you're just going to grind, and then you're going to pop out and get results and it's going to be great. There's never a good time. And when I first reached out to Andrea, I was like, in my world, I have people thinking that they can do it themselves a lot. And then when they come out and end up talking to me, it's because there was a financial upheaval, a mistake, a crisis moment. And I say, sometimes it's just time to hire someone or reach out or work with someone that knows what you're doing so that you're not, noodling over things and getting the results that you want. I spun my wheels probably for 9 months more than I needed to. And if I would have just, jumped in and said, you know what, I'm aware of what's going on. I know that I have deficits. She's going to work with me and it be fit in my lifestyle. I mean, I'm happy now, but I would be much more further ahead. So yeah, that's what I would say. Don't wait. There's not really ever a good time. And you're awesome to work with. You're fun. I'm like already glad that my program's going to end at some point in the future. I'm like, just work this forever. So anyway.
Thank you. I appreciate you so much. You've been a pleasure to work with for sure. And I love that you said that about, comparing to what you do, because it's very much like it. Like, people tend to think that they can do everything and they can Google everything and understand a little bit of everything, and that they should be able to figure it out because, it's easy. But we each have our own specialties for a reason. So when you hire somebody that is a specialist in something that you've never achieved before, it's going to buy you speed, right? So if I'm here, like, spinning my wheels with my finances and trying to figure out the best investments and this and that, if I just hire somebody that's just like you, it's going to make my life a lot easier. It's going to buy me time, buy me money. It's going to, speed up my results instead of spending all this time trying to figure out on my own. And with your fitness journey is the same thing. You're buying back time. You're buying back energy. You're just saving yourself all the hustle of trying to figure out something that you're not the specialist in, right? So I love that. Love that. Thank you so much, Kim. This was amazing. I loved it. I could be here chatting with you for the whole entire afternoon or morning, but we all got stuff to do and I'm sure you're very busy. But thank you so much for hopping on, and have a great day.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.